What's up, everybody? You're watching another episode of the Iron Obsession podcast. I'm your host, Anson, and I'm here with Steve Gordon. Once again, for another installment of whatever we're going to call this. We'll come up with a catchy name at some point. We'll come up with a catchy name at some point, but for now, it's just another episode of the Iron Obsession podcast. As always, we are brought to you by Iron Herbal Power Gear and Granite Nutrition. So today, we're going to be talking a little bit about health phases, holding phases, cruises, whatever you want to call it. Basically, just the time or the times, if you have multiple of them in a year, where you kind of come down, chill out, restore health markers if they need it, and maybe some people use it as a time to take off a little bit of body fat as well, stuff like that. So, Steve, you just getting out of yours now. We're coming to the end phase of your health phase, whatever you want to. What do you call yours to start off with? You call it a cruise or health phase?
I just kind of call it a cruise, to be honest. Health.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interchangeable to me. I don't
Same.
really care. It's like health phase, cruise, same thing.
Yeah.
If you want to call it health, I guess, there's still like background stuff. But,
Yep.
I really, for my health phase or health, I go down to just 300 and keep
Mhm.
it there. And there's a little bit of, there's like 2 IUs of growth.
Okay.
So I keep that.
And
So, yeah.
how? So I know you're just kind of getting started, things rolling with your age and stuff. How many of those phases have you done in your life? Like, is it still a pretty new thing to you, or?
I've done about 3, so I have.
Okay.
I do them like about like every 3 or 4 months. So I do, to be
Okay.
honest.
So you're a bit more frequent on that. That's good though.
Pretty frequent with them, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So how do those those all been pretty back to back? What are we talking about? Like 2 years or so of you doing those? A year?
So for my first year of being on PEDs, it was just straight 300 milligrams of test the whole entire time. So I didn't really do a health phase during that because no need if you're on
That is
300
your health
milligrams.
phase.
To be honest. Yeah, that's my health phase now. So once I actually started pushing doses up, I started my first like cycle I had strong and came out of that with a health phase. Didn't really need a health phase for that either.
Yeah.
But once I started adding like things like EQ and I got some like red blood cell count going up and stuff like that, I was like, all right, I can actually warrant a health phase at this point. So to get those health markers back, I go on the health phase for the most part. And
So have all three
it's
of those
generally
looked pretty similar for you so far? Just you kind of come down about 300 and just chill with the 2 IUs?
yeah, pretty much. And it doesn't. I mean, it does the job, so it does. So, and quite honestly, I think most of the time I don't even have to come to one. I could probably just stay on cycle and stay healthy, but
Yeah.
I think it's good to give the body a break anyways. So
Yeah, if anything, honestly, man, just from mental reprieve. Shit gets old.
yeah, gonna be
It
honest. Yeah.
does. It really does.
No, another reason is like if you're in a push or something, food, you're just getting tired of eating. Like you mentioned earlier, it's nice to kind of like you can give your gut a break. You can pull
Yeah.
back on food a little bit. So I'm coming to the end of my health phase now. So at the start of this health phase, I was 210, and this morning I was 189.2. So I still have like another 2 weeks that I want to go because I've only been pulling back for like 4 weeks right now. So it'll just be a quick little 6 week and everything's looking. Cause I don't think anything's that bad, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that. I think 6 is perfect because so some people would hear 6 and be like, "Oh, that's not enough time." Well, the idea is things shouldn't be so bad that you need more than 6.
That's right, exactly, yeah.
Right.
And they say that's what they do, and they're like, well, guys back in the day, they came completely off. And I'm like, Jay Cutler said he came completely off, but his off was for 2 or 3 weeks. And
Yeah.
that's not off whenever you're taking grams.
It's all hearsay. It's all hearsay too.
Yeah.
So like we can't base what we're doing now off of what people who said they heard from people who said they heard from people. Like it is stupid. And you just got to go off of empirically what you've seen works for you, provides the best outcomes in both progress and also health. So with the baseline of the 300 anabolic load and then the 200, or not 200, that would be crazy, 2 IU of growth. Is there anything else that you add in during that time to kind of support health? Like, so guys are adding in Retta, they're adding in SLU, MOTS-C, these peptides, stuff like that. Is there anything that you add in terms of like I wouldn't necessarily call it a PED, but almost like an ancillary, that is kind of specific to that phase or something? For example, let's say you're running a BP med. how does that change during that time? Do you need 40, tell me,
Oh,
on a
yeah.
blast, and then you come
So
down to 20, or is it just something you keep static?
I just keep so I keep telling myself static at about 40, so I do.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm on one cycle, my blood pressure will go up a little bit, go up to like 130 over something.
Yeah.
That's all right for me.
I'm really
And health,
lucky in that regard because
yeah.
I my heaviest all time weight was actually this morning, the technical first day of the cruise, and I was 240 fasted, walking around. End of the night, I step on the scale, I'm 265, and
Oh yeah.
my blood pressure is 105 over 58. I
Wow,
think this is the last reading,
that's good.
and I'm only taking
See,
40 mgs of telmisartan. So
see, that's a thing with me. I think I'm genetically predisposition. What's the word for it?
predisposed.
You know, yeah, to it. Because my brother has it, my father has it. Whenever I was 14 years old, you'd look at me. I wasn't overweight or anything, but it was slightly high then as well. It was like 135 over 80 or something. When
Yeah,
I was
it's not
14.
bad at all though. No.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, so
aside from
the
the
blood pressure medicine kind of staying the same in terms of health ancillaries. Then I know you did mention Retta previously. So are there any things that you kind of add in during that time that you would not normally do, or is everything just kind of stay the same? It's just the amounts that change.
pretty much just amounts. Right now, it's my first go with Bretta, so it is.
Hmm.
So that definitely food noise. It's
Yeah,
different. It's definitely
yeah.
different. Like
What was your dosage on that? I don't remember if I had asked.
so, I just went for a full 4 milligram bolus dose at first,
Uh,
and that kind of like that crashed pretty good, and I pulled back to two. So I have, and I've just kind
okay.
of been setting it
Yeah,
two.
yeah. I don't think I did ask about your dose on that because I would have remembered the four bolus. How did that feel?
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was. I'm a big appetite kind of guy,
Yeah, same.
so it crushed my appetite, and I was fine with that. I can still eat even with like crushed appetite. But the thing that I noticed is like I'll be working throughout the day because I work at a desk,
Hmm.
and I'm not very active. Food can be on my mind very easily.
Hmm.
I just noticed like I can work for like hours, 4 or 5 hours, and not think about it at all. Like
Hmm.
I'll forget to eat. Simply put, it's good.
That's
And
good.
same thing with like like a year ago, coming out of a pretty hard mini cut, maybe like a year and a half ago. Um, Coming out of that and thinking about food 24/7, restaurants, everything like that around me. Yeah, having a food focus, it
Hmm.
just gone. So it is. So
Yeah, I think me and
that's
you are very similar in that vein of having that food focus kind of always in the background. For me, I've not taken it that high. I started off actually the opposite of you. I started off low, and then I kind of have ended up a bit higher. It's still not high though. I just 'cause price, honestly, this shit's so expensive. I
yeah,
started off at a half a milligram a week. I don't know if that really did anything, to be honest. Maybe a little, but not much. And I've kind of landed now in about a milligram a week, being to the
okay,
point where I'm noticing a good amount of food noise reduction, but I don't really get much appetite reduction. I just
yeah,
ate meal four, I think it was at 5. I ate that thing in easily 2 or 3 minutes. Like
yeah,
black hole devoured. It was crazy quick, and that's 200 grams of meat, 250 grams of rice, and 100 grams of vegetables. I mean, it went down like air. So
yeah.
I would probably want to do more, but I also want to get my blood work back first, which I got pulled on Friday. I want to see what it's doing to like my lipids and stuff like that.
It's like
If my
cholesterol.
lipids
Yeah.
are perfect, then I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just leave it as it is. But if my lipids are maybe a little skewed, I can be like, okay, that's a reason to bump it up a bit.
I've heard really good things about what it can do for cholesterol.
Yeah.
But aside from that, the only thing I keep static, I keep this static year round. I did mention it last podcast.
Yep.
It's
Thyroid.
my thyroid replacement. Yeah, so I keep that static in my face as well. And that's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I think that's a pretty good way to go about it. In the past, because I've done, I don't even know how many cruises I've done at this point. I've been doing things since 2021, late end of 2021, I want to say, maybe
yeah,
2022. So, I mean, minimum that's probably 2 a year, probably somewhere between 8 to 10 health phases in my life. And I've had points where it's no test at all, just HCG and HMG. I've had points where it's 100 milli. I remember one time I did 100 milligrams of test, and my test levels came back at like 1200. So that was cool. That was like immediate. That was actually right after my first show. It was, and there were other times where I did 100 milligrams of test, a bunch of HCG, HMG, the IGF peptides, LR3, DES,
Okay.
some insulin growth, stuff like that. Like I've done it all, and now what I've come to land on via my new coach Joseph Percher, his methods, what we're doing now is pretty simple, and I like it because I don't have to do what I would honestly say is kind of waste money during a cruise because I just mentioned all that stuff I named off, right? And I would say honestly most of it didn't really do anything. So I think your best bet is just to keep it simple. For me right now, my cruise is just 200 to test, 200 of EQ or mast. I don't have EQ on hand, so I'm just doing mast. So that's 400 load total. For me, I was starting to get some pretty crazy sides from 8IU growth. So we're just dropping that out completely for a week, bumping that down to 6. It'll come back in next week. Keeping Telma at 40, keeping T4 at 100. Pulled insulin completely. I was doing 25 Atlantis on training days and 15 Humalog on leg days pre-workout. Okay. That's completely gone because there's different thought processes about insulin use, but what my coaches come to, and also what I've also come to believe now, I think insulin is only necessary if you're using growth, or if you're diabetic, obviously.
I agree. Yeah.
So there's just not a need to keep it in. It's fun. Like, it's cool to get good pumps from it, but it's probably detrimental long-term to our insulin sensitivity and to body composition, especially, because, insulin's a storage hormone. Probably a bit detrimental to leave that in if we don't absolutely need it. And with 8 units of growth, you're going to need it, for sure.
That's what I was thinking. You mentioned using insulin previously in a health phase, and personally for me, I like to keep it in. So I only like to use that for, when it's needed, like you said, whenever you're pushing food a lot, and you also have that growth going in.
Yeah.
So
my blood sugars have become towards the end of the push there, it was the most food I've ever eaten, the heaviest I've ever weighed, the more growth I've ever done. And my blood sugars were not bad per se, but they were higher than I would like them. Like, example, today, first day of the cruise, 84, fasted. Fine.
That's not bad.
But yesterday, though, the day before, last day on it, 104. Not great.
Fasted?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I don't
it's
like
It's not terrible, but I want it to be.
It's not bad, but yeah, it's above 100. Once it starts to go above 100, that's whenever I start to think, it's a little.
Yeah, and before Retta, it was 115.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah, it's getting up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I've heard worse. I've
heard 150.
Yeah, I've heard 200.
Yeah.
From guys that are like shredded, it's just from them, abusing growth so much.
You make yourself a diabetic.
Yeah.
But that's how everything has lined out for me here, and that's just what I have now on plan. And it basically, with what he's laid out for me so far, the first half of this health cruise, we call it a cruise. The first half of this cruise is just going to be basically, because things are still going to linger, like esters decline. Yeah. You're not really off for at least, let's say, 3 to 4 weeks. So we're still going to push for progress, right? And then the latter half, we're going to actually use it as an opportunity to kind of mini cut, which I'm looking forward to.
There you go.
However, food got dropped quite a bit. I went from 6,500 calories to about 5. So,
okay.
But that's I'm thinking honestly, my body weight's going to drop pretty substantially before we get to that latter half. So I'm guessing this is just kind of like a starting point, and then based off of this week's response, he'll probably end up adding more food next week if the goal is to kind of keep pushing there. But if not, I'm just down for the ride. See what happens. I wouldn't mind cleaning up my look a little bit. I'm the type of person who likes to stay lean. So
my mindset is it's like coming out of a push where your doses were high and you're going into a cruise where those esters kind of slowly get out of your system. My mindset is the opposite, actually. I always think since it's still going to be in your system, it's going to be a bit higher for the first few weeks. I like to drop calories really hard the first few weeks since I still have that support from the anabolics, and wipe off as much that water, that body weight, body fat as well. And then towards the latter end of cruise, like right now, I start to add back in food, as the ester stuff fully clear out, and I'm on my lower doses finally. I start to add back in food. So I'm the opposite. I like to cool it off really quick at the beginning and then kind of slowly ramp back up and get ready to go.
And that makes sense. And I don't think either way is wrong or right. I think it's just preference based. Both ways work for sure.
Yeah.
But the way I would look at it is, in the beginning there, we still have a bit of potential for growth. and we still have a bit of a potential to continue to push progress in the gym, especially. At the end there, yeah, we're not going to have the support to quote, hold muscle or whatever. But at the same time, I'd argue, one, it's really hard to lose muscle. It's really like if the muscle is earned, it's really hard to lose. So I'm not really necessarily worried about losing muscle, even if I'm on nothing but 400. And honestly, the cruise doses that we're talking about here should be more than sufficient to hold muscle for a couple weeks.
We're still in
Honestly,
super
well
physiological.
above. So that being said, let's say you do somehow manage to strip off a couple pounds of muscle, 2-3 pounds of muscle. Muscle memory is legit. Muscle memory is legit a thing. Like, if you were able to do that in a couple of weeks, I would argue, within 2 or 4 weeks of starting to push again, it's just going to come right back. So.
Yeah, it's going to be right back. So,
But then doing the method you're doing, you can really drive hard those first couple of weeks and probably overall get a bit more fat loss that's actually productive doing it your way. So it just depends on what the goal is. Like, if you really need to clean up a look, I think the way you're doing it is great. But if you still there's still a little bit left of juice you can squeeze out of the fruit, so to say, then I would do that. It just depends.
Yeah. I think, for your situation where you're still really lean, so you are coming out of rebound. So I think the way you're doing
a 17-week rebound.
Well, still, I mean, you look like you're fresh out. You don't look like a 17-week rebound.
Oh yeah, I don't feel like it though, man. I can't shave my shoulders. I can't put my seatbelt on. It's tough, man. Honestly, I've really felt the weight. I would not mind if my weight dropped a little bit this upcoming phase, because man, I'm feeling it. My sleep has gone to shit. I can't wear my CPAP mask. I don't know why that is. It's really fucked up, because you would assume when you're lighter, it actually would be harder to use the CPAP mask because you don't need it. But with me, I don't know why. I'm more aware of it when I'm heavy. That's the only thing I would say. It's like I'm gonna try to knock myself out tonight, because I had a terrible night of sleep last night. I'm gonna take melatonin, GABA, L-theanine. I got the whole stack set up, so we're gonna see how that goes. But so a 17-week rebound. That's another thing about the cruise. I was basically blasting from 22 weeks out, from May 24th to yesterday. So, that being
40
said,
weeks.
most aggressive protocol I've ever done in my life. And I didn't intend for it to be that way, but just because of a myriad of different factors, it ended up turning out that way. And
have you gotten blood work done anytime in that? No?
No, I got blood work done. I will say this. I got blood work done like 1 week out from the show, because I didn't know at the time, but I was having really bad anxiety attacks. But I thought I was having a heart attack.
Oh, okay.
I felt really bad. So I was like, being super hypochondriac about it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I overdosed on potassium or something, because I'm taking telmisartan and it makes you hold on to potassium. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I went to the doctor, got blood work pulled. Turns out my liver was perfect. Like, I didn't get a very comprehensive panel done. All I got done was like liver, kidneys, electrolytes, and some other basic stuff. Kidneys were perfect. Liver was like 50-40. ALT, AST, something like that, like 50 and 40. And I was probably on 200 milligrams a week of orals. So,
wow.
Yeah. And glutathione, which is the next part I was going to mention on the cruise, I do like to up my glutathione a bit. I'll go from 200 twice a week to 200 3 times a week. And I'll pair that with NAD+. Man, that stuff is insane. So good. Like, I attribute that to why my liver numbers were so good at a week out from the show.
So one thing to mention is, so last time I had that red blood cell issue was I pulled out telmisartan because my blood pressure was good, so I was like, I probably don't need it. But I probably should have kept it. I was on EQ. So telmisartan can also help with that, but then also I've started, like, I wouldn't say mega dosing, but taking pretty high doses of IP6 as well, to try to see how that affects the red blood cell count as well. This time, whenever I get my blood work pulled, I'm interested in seeing whether or not it's actually elevated back up there, or if keeping the supplementation and the health supplementation is really helping out the way it is.
Is blood thickness, meaning hematocrit, hemoglobin, is that one of the areas that you've struggled in more so, or?
No, never. EQ.
So it's just EQ. Okay.
That's the first time, yeah. Like, because I pushed up to like a higher test range of like 750 to 600 mass. So I did compared to trying EQ, and everything was perfect. And I had ran Anadrol during that as well, and everything was perfect.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's why your blood. So when you say it was elevated, how elevated are we talking? Because with that combo, I would be surprised if you weren't elevated.
oh no, I mean I ran Anadrol with that test and Mastron
Oh,
cycle.
okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
Because
it
I,
came back
yeah,
perfect.
I've done draw with EQ, and blood thickness gets up there, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but whenever I got it done, so last time I checked, I think it was the hemoglobin,
yeah,
because there's a whenever you go to donate at Red Cross
yeah,
is where I donate at. They don't let you donate if it's like above
yeah.
20.
That's getting into my next question. Yep.
Yeah, so then it goes like off the radar. So I was sitting there, I was getting ready to donate. it was like 18.8 or something. So
Okay.
it made the machine flash and go off, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I might not be able to donate, so I might not. But
I think
yeah,
I
it
had
was,
one
it was
time
up
where
there.
I was close to setting off the machine, but I don't think I've ever actually done it. So,
Yeah, no, I
but
set
it,
it off.
yeah, that goes into my next thing. I actually don't donate blood uh, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to get paid for that. I feel like we should be getting paid for it. You know, it's like
They gave me a free lamp, so
yeah, like man, for how much of an ordeal it is, and the reason I say I feel like I should get paid for it because I'm about to tell you how much it sucks for me. For me to suffer this much, I need to be getting like $100 or something, man. Because for whatever reason, even if my hematocrit and my hemoglobin run a bit higher, I will go straight up anemic for like 3 weeks after donating blood. My iron and my
really.
ferritin, yeah, my iron and my ferritin will take like 3 weeks to recover. Every
Oh
time I
wow.
donate blood, same thing. So I'll lay down on the lying hamstring curl. I have to like pace myself as I get up, or I'll pass out every time I
Yeah,
donate blood. So I've just
that's
gotten
something
out of the
I've
habit
heard
of doing
of.
it.
That's something I've heard Chase Irons talk about. He said he's against donating blood even if it is high. He said just as long as your blood pressure's all right, it's all
Yeah,
right. But uh, I haven't had issues. That was the only time. That was the first time I ever had. I've only donated blood once, but I didn't have any issues that time. So, but yeah, if you do it too often, or if it's someone like you,
yeah.
it's just in your
And it
genetics,
wasn't
I guess.
often. I'd done it maybe once every other year at that point.
Oh wow. Oh, that's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
I only did it when my coach was like, "Go do this now."
Yeah.
Like that's the only time I would get it done because I would always feel terrible after it. But and not to mention,
So
man, these nurses, they suck. Like, dude, I've got veins from my fingertips to my ears, and you can't find a vein that you don't miss. What is going on? Like, come on, man. I should not need to get stuck 4 times.
and the
But
needle they stick in you,
it's
that
like
thing is.
it's a McDonald's straw.
I saw it. I was like, she pulled it out, and I was like, I didn't know they
Yeah,
made needles that big,
yeah,
man.
man. They can
Yeah.
keep those. But what you were about to say
Yeah.
something?
I was gonna say, so you were donating blood. Was your hematocrit and stuff high
Yes,
at one point, or
stupid high.
what got it up that high?
I don't just probably honestly my diet wasn't great back then. That
I was
probably
gonna say
had
body weight and diet. Yeah.
yeah. I was probably fat. I probably had a bad diet. That was probably the biggest contributing factor. But my doses were actually when I was younger, around like the 22 to 23 range. My doses were actually way higher than they are now at 25.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I
high
mean,
enough,
I
high
think.
enough to where they're irresponsible to talk about.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, um, I don't think it is going to be a problem for me on this upcoming blood work. Although even the past few years, it kind of airs on the high end. I don't remember an exact number because I've not been keeping track of it too much. Because every time I go to see my doctor, every time I send blood work off to my coach, they look at it. I'm always like, yeah, I know this has been a problem for me in the past. It's a little elevated. What do you think?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is no problem. So I've not been keeping up with it at that point. I still get it done, but it's not like you have your key things on your blood work that you're looking for. They're like your issue areas. Like for example, the one that I am going to be concerned about, HDL. My HDL always has been terrible. When I was 18 years old, my HDL was like 17.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
I've never seen it above 30.
That's bad because
Yeah.
mine. I mean, not to say that's bad, but I mean it
Oh no,
is
that's bad.
obviously.
No, it's bad.
Yeah. Because I know the lowest I've seen mine, even whenever running like Master and stuff that's known for crushing your cholesterol and whatnot.
Yeah,
I think it was like 34 is the lowest I've seen.
yeah.
So, and that's still within range. So,
Yeah, but so while my HDL will, I'm hoping for it to be like 35, 40 with the combination of Retta, SLU, taking a lot of fish oils, eating very, very absurdly clean, like a monk. Between all that, I'm hoping to see it at about 35. That'd be good for me. But that being said, while my HDL has always been low, my LDL has also always been low. It's rare for me to see my
Yeah, that's
LDL
good.
above 70. Like
That's good. Yeah,
50 to
as
60
long
is
as
kind of where I live on that LDL range typically.
the LDL is down there, I mean
Yep.
that's what matters.
It's
That's
that
that stuff.
ratio.
Yeah,
Because so your HDL is what's cleaning the plaque, I believe. The LDL is
yeah,
what's building up the plaque.
yeah.
And as long as your ratio is good there, your overall net health is going to be good. So,
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So you mentioned sluice that you did. How long have you been on that?
uh, I want to say 2 months, maybe.
2 months. Has it been making a difference? I've been played
Yeah.
around with it. I've been hearing a lot about it. So
I mean, I've not been doing a lot. I've just been doing 500, between 5 and 6,
yeah, yeah.
depending on like the formulation. I won't. I wouldn't say I notice anything, which is probably good. You know,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
probably don't want to notice something like that because if you do, it means you had a big underlying problem. Because with
Yeah.
with making mitochondria efficient, if your mitochondria was extremely inefficient, then you probably would notice a big difference.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of a body heat increase. That's about it.
Okay.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but then I've also gained like 60 pounds, so you know who knows. Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah.
Metabolically, I don't know. I mean, I'm eating the most food, or well, up until like this past 2 days, I was eating the most food I've ever eaten. So maybe it had something to do with that. That's the problem with what we do, man. Is at a certain point you become a walking pharmacy and you don't know what's doing what. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
I would say
yeah.
overall I like it. What my real data is going to be is from this blood work. Is going to determine
Okay.
if I
Yeah.
continue the use of it or not. In prep, I think it's a no brainer no matter what. Just because even if
Hmm.
you don't feel it, it's absolutely doing something at that point. But
Yeah.
yeah, SLU. As far as the data we're seeing, though, you know, not just from my anecdotal experience, looks very good. Very,
Hmm.
very interesting. All these peptides, man. MOTS-C, Retta, um, SLU. There's some other ones like 5-amino 1-MQ, I think it is.
Yeah.
Those are like kind of the big hitters. It seems very
Yep.
interesting.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
what it's like with Jordan Peters right now. I think he's preaching Retta.
yeah,
I think it's Matsi. Matsi is his like second best, and then
yeah,
the next one he said just whatever works best for you. So if you need like
yeah.
recovery, then you BPC or whatever. So yeah, they're making
Oh,
a
yeah, I
making a
do
big hit.
BPC. I do 500 oral of that for stomach health. That I have noticed. If you ever get any type of GI distress, get BPC.
Okay,
100%.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. But
All right.
as far as blood work goes, because I think Crew's health phase blood work is linked to that, or at least it should be. What are your main markers that you're looking at, keeping track with, personally for your situation?
So for me, really the main thing I've never had cholesterol issues, so I don't really worry about cholesterol too
Okay.
much. I check my cystatin C at least once per year for kidneys. That's like the big one I check, and then because it's a little extra money, so I only do that once per year. The
Yeah.
the other kidney marker I just look at is creatinine, which is it can be elevated,
Yeah.
based off the training. Also,
What about EGFR?
EGFR.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, I get that checked, so
Okay.
I do.
Good.
I can't. I don't think I got checked last time, but I think I got it checked the time before, which would have been like 6 months ago. So
Okay.
I do that. Yeah, I do it based off of like the previous lab that I got. So if I didn't have it on like my last one, I'll
Mhm.
look back at it and I'll get it the next time. So,
Yeah.
but
And I guess you also check your liver. Do you just do the typical ALT, AST, or do you also get like bilirubin and stuff like that?
I just do the typical ALT and
Yeah.
AST. So I do. So because I've never had any liver issues as well. Like my
Yeah.
ALT and AST, it's always been
Slightly elevated.
yeah, that's just slightly, and that's from training. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
So if it were to climb up all of a sudden to like 100, it's never been that high. Like it's always around like 60 or
Yeah.
50. If
I
it
wouldn't
was
even be
the
worried about 100, man. Honestly, like
no,
after a leg day, you're probably at like 200.
yeah, well, I've seen like yeah, like my friend Daniel, he never has it below like 110, so he doesn't no matter
Yeah.
what. But if I were to see like a sudden jump in those numbers, then I'd get some extra tests done. But
Yeah.
apart from that, pretty good with all that. So yeah,
Yeah, and for someone like him,
and
he's so far advanced to where, you know, he has those options to do those extra tests. But just knowing from that level of advancement how hard he's training, probably,
yeah,
yeah, liver's going to always be elevated in those two markers. So I honestly,
yeah,
for him, I probably wouldn't even get those checked anymore. I would just check the more advanced ones. I don't remember the name of them off the top of my head. It's got some fancy name, but there is one where it like specifically shows acute liver stress versus muscle stress. So.
yeah. And then the only other things I really watch is I'll get my thyroid checked every other as well, just to make sure it's still within range with the supplementation that I use. And then I like to watch my, what is it, A1C. I like to keep track of
Yep.
that, just make sure it's not climbing too much. And then I
Yep.
like to watch my insulin as well.
You know they have a at-home A1C test now, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, dude.
No,
You can go to Walmart, pick one up for like $20.
really,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I've not done
That's
it
not bad.
yet. Yeah, I've not done it yet, but really crucial tool for anybody pushing food. At-home
Yeah.
A1C test. Learned about that from Andrew Barry and Kyle Wilkes and Phil Viz on the Unwrapped podcast.
Okay, that's good
Yeah,
to know.
super
Yeah,
cool info there. But yeah, I keep track of pretty much all the same things. I can't think of anything. I mean, obviously hormone levels. It's nice just to know where they are. You know,
yeah.
check them every once in a while. I can't think of anything else that I get checked that you did not just list off. In the past, I would get my LH and my FSH checked for fertility markers, but now I know they're going to be zero, so I don't check them. Um,
Yeah.
and then when that becomes a concern, you know, there's medications for that, so it's not a big deal. Um,
I'll check
yeah,
estrogen as well. So well,
yeah. That would be
I,
one
I,
to actually monitor.
I won't get like a deep, like I won't get like the advanced estrogen check where it
Yeah,
gives you like the exact number. I'll just make sure it's like not super high or not
yeah,
super low or something like that.
yeah. That's good. Um, yeah, so I think those are all the blood markers I get. For me, the main concerns. I've never had a problem with my kidneys ever. I've never seen them even slightly elevated, and I actually had kidney stones as a kid, so that's something that I always have been very crucial at watching. It's never been a concern. Blood thickness, you know, in the past has been an issue. I'm thinking going forward, it probably won't be though, with how on the money I am with nutrition now,
Mhm.
supplementation, stuff like that, and my laundry list of help supplements, man.
Yeah,
Oof. Yeah, crazy long. Thankfully, I found a lot of formulations now to where it basically just has X, Y, Z all in one pill. That's made things a lot easier. But liver has always been a bit elevated for me, like you said, but I've never seen it past like I think 150 is the highest I've ever seen. And
okay.
I was able to get that down to 30 in like 2 weeks.
It
So
doesn't take long to recover
yeah,
at
it
all.
doesn't take long at all. Um, Cholesterol, my triglycerides are always perfect. LDL is always perfect. HDL is always awful. Typically, you know, it's been as low. Well, it's probably been as low as zero. You know, at some point, probably during prep. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm sure everybody's HDL gets down to like nothing by the end of a prep. You know, slamming Letro and winning. But I'd like to see it around 25. For me, is within my range of what I know. I'm pretty good at about 25. But going forward with the new tools we have at our disposal, I'd like to I'd like to get it as high as I can now. I'm pushing
yeah.
citrus bergamot, pushing the Retta, the SLU. I'd like to get it to 40 one day. That would be kind of a goal. But at the same time, if it doesn't happen, I'm not concerned about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so those would be all the main things that I keep up with. Obviously, A1C, fasted insulin, like you said. As far as pricing goes for blood work, what are you having to pay for blood work now? Because I got a full panel done on Friday, and it was about 270, which is
I was about to
a
say,
lot
yeah.
more than I thought it was going to be.
Mine's normally about 235, so it is, and
Yeah,
it's not like a full panel. There's like one or two things missing on there, but like one or two things I could go out of my way to add one for like an extra 20.
yeah. And
It's
in the
normally
past,
around.
man, prices have gone up because I don't remember paying that much. I feel like it was like maybe 220 for me in the past.
Yeah.
Because I actually go through my primary for it. I'm thinking
Oh,
I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna shop around. I know Merrick is advertised by people, but their pricing is abysmal. I've heard, and I saw
yeah.
theirs was 240 for the panel that I got. I think
Yeah.
Private MD Labs is the cheapest one I'm seeing. I'm thinking I can get my panel done for like 190 or 200 there. So that's probably what I'm
I
doing in the
wouldn't be
future.
bad. Yeah. I go through I think I go through Algo DX is what
Yep,
they're called.
that's another one that I've been
Um,
recommended.
they're not too bad. So they're not. I think it's around 220 though. They have a bodybuilder. specific panels.
Yeah.
I don't use those, so I don't. Because I'm like, well, there's some stuff on here I really don't need that you call a bodybuilder
Yeah.
specific thing.
Like IGF is,
So
I would say IGF is the number one test people get done that's absolutely worthless. Because
yeah,
it's like a well, it's like a $400 panel or something like that.
really.
I remember,
Wow.
or no, it's like 200. Because I remember there was a doctor that I was working with. He wanted me to get IGF and DHT together. That was 400. I think they were like 200 a piece.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
IGF is a worthless metric to get tested because you got to understand that is just the IGF that is currently circulating through your blood, or maybe
Hmm.
that your liver is currently working on and breaking down. The IGF that we're interested in is the IGF that's actually in the muscle, and there's no tests other than a biopsy to see that.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's what I've heard. I've heard of people say IGF. If you want to test your growth hormone, then
yeah, that's
like
different.
your quality, then you you don't want to get the IGF tested. You want to or look at the IGF. You want to look at your the actual growth hormone level that you
Yep,
have, and you get a growth hormone test. Simply put, but
yep,
yeah. So
yeah.
it
Any
was one of the things I mentioned.
Yeah. I was going to go to the health supplement side of things for a cruise phase. My health supplements stay the same year round, but I maybe bump up a few things during the cruise. Like I mentioned, citrus bergamot, huge for
Mhm.
cholesterol. Tudka, NAC, astragalus is a cheat code for kidney health. My kidneys have never been bad, but anytime I up the astragalus a little bit, man, those EGFR and GFR numbers just go straight up, or not
Yeah.
up, positive. You know what I mean? But any health supplements that you found really work for you or really don't work for you?
Uh, Pretty much everything you just mentioned there, I take. So I do. I keep constant. I don't
Yeah,
increase or decrease. So I don't. I just keep constant year round. The only thing I will increase or decrease is Tudka. If I throw in some orals like
yeah,
Anadrol or something, then I'll bump the Tudka up a little bit. I'll be like, this is definitely helping, even though maybe it's not, maybe it
yeah.
is,
No,
but
I think it is. I think it is. Tudka is really good for digestive health as well. So I think
really,
it's
I didn't
good.
know that. Okay,
Yeah, because
yeah,
it's what is it? It's like ox bile or something like that. I don't remember the exact thing, but it's they use it in certain medical situations for the stomach. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it's great stuff. One thing that I do, or at least in the past, I'm not doing it right now, that I have added in specifically during a cruise phase is I've done red yeast rice. And the reason I don't keep that
okay,
in is because it's supposed to act like a statin. So I would just be concerned about joint health and things like that. But people swear
gotcha.
by it. I
Oh,
think
that's
we
what is that for cholesterol then?
it just acts like a statin, yes. It would potentially affect HDL, but mainly LDL. Because a lot of people don't know this, that statins, for most people, actually don't make that much of an impact on your HDL. They more so impact the LDL. Because think about
Okay,
the average American, like what do they mostly struggle with? It's not the HDL, it's the LDL.
yeah.
Because their
But yeah,
diet shit.
their HDL is probably in range because they're eating plenty of fats at the
Yeah,
same
to
time.
say the least, right?
LDL.
Yeah, so I think that covers all the like supplemental and PD side of a cruise phase. I think I already know the answer to this, but how does your training change during a cruise?
Doesn't.
Yep. It doesn't. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
man. Well, do you? One thing that I would say maybe would change. Do you mess with intensifiers at all?
Yeah, I do. I guess I do start to pull them back a little bit as I
Yeah.
get deeper into the cruise and fatigue starts to set in. Towards the beginning, where the estrogen is still in your system, everything stays the same. I'll still keep my
Yep.
intensifiers in, but towards the end, like right now, I noticed yesterday I was hitting back in biceps yesterday. I worked in on a set with Tyler. I forget his last name on Instagram. He's T Dustin, Tyler Dustin. He's hangs out with Seth Ferosi a lot, so he does.
Oh,
But he's a big guy. He's my height. He's 270, so he has
damn.
50 pounds on me. Yeah, he's big. But I realized like we were really starting to push it.
Yeah.
I'm here towards the end of my health phase. He's just starting his health phase, and
Yeah.
I was after that. I was gassed. I was like, I would have been able to keep up like 5 weeks ago, but now it's yeah, I got to pull back just a little bit for recovery purposes. But
Yeah, I'm interested because my training is completely programmed for me by my coach now. I'm interested to see what we do with my training over the cruise. Everything is staying the same so far, and I would expect it to. But I'm curious to see maybe if we change volume a little bit, or my intensifiers are on a schedule of just every fifth week. I don't do my intensifiers because I only have two. I have a drop set on my hack squats on Monday, and then I have a rest pause set on my leg press on Friday. Those are the only two I have right now. So those just drop out every 5 weeks for the sake of joint health and longevity and so on.
I like that idea. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I've actually, just before I started working with him, I was on an intensifier kick, man, and it was destroying my joints. I shit you not, I was doing drop sets and rest pauses on maybe every exercise.
I
Just
believe
for
it. I
fucking
mean, seeing how you trained, like, whenever
yeah.
I was back there,
Like
yeah.
at the end of like if I was doing a push workout, at the end of chest, because I would do all of chest, then I would do all of shoulders, and I would do all of triceps. At the end of chest, intensifier. At the end of shoulders, intensifier. At the end of triceps, intensifier. I would do that, and my shoulders were starting to feel like an old man. It was bad,
Yeah.
and my
But you
hip.
keep doing it. You do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thankfully, I
So
switched.
sometimes just,
I switched over
until
to
you can
him,
stop.
and he took over my training. So thankfully, that's not a problem anymore. My joints feel fantastic right now.
That's good. Yeah.
And my legs are. I got legs tomorrow. My legs are still sore from Friday. We're gonna pray that they're recovered by tomorrow morning, man. But if not, we send it. That's how it goes.
So that's supplementation, that's training. We did cover diet. I mean,
Yep.
diet really just same food. You just increase or decrease depending on the goal.
Yep. I will say
So
one thing with the diet. I've been pretty strict on myself for about 17 weeks post show. Not really doing cheat meals. The only two that I took were sushi, and then actually one more for my anniversary, which was pad thai at a Thai restaurant,
there you
with super clean ingredients. They hand make everything from scratch.
go. Mhm.
With my food dropping a bit, I'm thinking I might actually start implementing a weekly. I wouldn't call it a cheat meal. I would call it a weekly fun meal, where I just kind of spice up a meal a little bit. So my meal 5 right now is 200 grams of 93.7 beef, 250 white rice, 100 vegetables. Maybe what I might start doing, I'm allowed 1,000 calorie cheat meal every week. Maybe what I'll start doing is I have to ask him. I don't know if I'm supposed to sub out a meal or if I just add that. But either way, basically, I'll take that beef, make it into patties, get like some sourdough buns, stuff like that, and just kind of make myself a burger. But it's 100% clean. But it's kind of
Yeah.
like a funner prep meal. So that is something that I'm probably going to do during the cruise phase, just due to kind of weight dropping down a bit. I don't like taking cheat meals in a surplus personally. To me, it fucks with my head too much because I see that. I know it doesn't work this way, but if I see 3 pounds go up on the scale from a cheat meal I had yesterday, I'm like, that's fat I just added. That's never coming off until I diet again. You know?
Yeah, it's the same way in my head, and I don't like doing it and pushing when I'm pushing either because the water weight's just way worse.
Yeah,
It's
and you feel worse too.
yeah, you feel way worse. Like
Yeah,
whenever you're dieting down, you get a cheat meal whenever you need it, or
yeah,
maybe even you don't necessarily need it. You wake up the next morning. Sometimes you're tighter, you're fuller,
yes, yeah,
you have a better training session. It's nice,
yeah.
but in a push phase, you're already full, and then you just spill over with all that sodium, and it's like your face is puffy, you feel terrible, you're bending over, and your back's giving out on you. It's
Oh
like
my
I'm
god, the
done.
lower back
But
parts. Yeah,
yeah.
it almost affects your training if you overdo it
It
too
does,
much.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it's
Yeah.
too much, it can affect it. Yeah, to where you can't train, which is crazy.
Even if it's not
But
too much, man. Because like I said, that meal that I had for my anniversary with my wife, it was pretty clean. Calorie wise, it was probably less than my actual meals. Because
yeah,
they're probably what 4 ounces of chicken in that thing, some rice noodles, some peanuts, and some vegetables.
yeah,
I don't see that being even 1,000 calories. But the sodium, I'm already taking in a good chunk of sodium. I'm already taking in 1.5 grams of pink salt with every meal, 3 grams of my intro, stuff like that. The amount of
yeah,
sodium jumped my weight up by 4 pounds.
yeah, yeah.
So I
And
felt that. Thankfully, the next day was rest day. So by the end of the rest day, I was kind of good. And then by Monday, I was still up a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. So
yeah, that can
going into a deficit, I am probably going to start doing something like that. But
yeah.
only if I see my weight start to trend down.
I think that's probably the best time to do it. I don't like to do it whenever pushing either.
Yeah.
I only do it on like special occasions whenever stuff comes up, like
Yep.
holidays or family events or something along those lines. But in the dieting phase, especially for a lot of my clients or the people that I coach, especially the guy that I'm coaching for his prep right now. Initially, we had a cheat meal in. He just subbed a meal every single week, so he did just to keep that mental there, I guess you could say. He's natural. He's competing natural, so he's not going to be using red or anything like that.
Yeah. Probably has a
And then
long prep too, being natural, right?
uh, we're going about 22 weeks is what I
Yeah.
think he's on.
I've heard some
So
natural guys going as long as 30 weeks on a prep.
I've seen guys go like
40.
40, like
Yeah.
close to a year
Yeah.
almost. But um, he's going to come in good till he is for his first time. He's looking real good. He has about 10 more weeks left, but initially we had that every single week, and now I was like, all right, we're going to start getting a bit more strict, start peeling a bit more off. And as his body responded really well, it started coming off. So then I was like, all right, I'm going to start adding in cheat meals periodically here and there. And if you have any family events coming up, let me know. So he had like
Yeah.
his mother's birthday, and I was like, all right, I want you to enjoy your mother's birthday. And that's about like a week and a half from now since your last cheat meal. That'll probably line up pretty well. So I kind of lined it up that way for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then this past week I had he had his father's birthday, and also he's ahead, so he is. So I told him we're gonna drop a little bit of fatigue, and it worked well. So that he only gained like maybe 2 or 3 pounds,
That's
just
good.
fullness. Pulled back cardio in half, bumped him back up to maintenance calories, and then he had one day out the week where he went off plan and had family dinner. And now we're back to digging for like the next 7 weeks to really get that last bit off. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
it's beneficial in situations, so it is.
So when you say cheat meal, do you give any type of restriction on that, or is it like a true cheat meal?
So it's don't have a whole entire pizza is what I
Yeah.
like to say.
Don't
It's
eat like an
like
asshole.
there's still some restriction. I'm like so I'll like give them some outlines. I'll say like, all right, go get yourself a nice entree, maybe have like a side with it. So have like a burger
Okay.
and
So
fries.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. That's good. So you're at least telling them, you're saying one entree, one
yeah,
side, not
yep.
three. Because here's the thing, man. When two, 3, 4 years ago, my fast would have used a cheat meal as an opportunity to eat 10,000 calories.
With a freaking buffet.
Oh, on God,
Yeah,
I'd do some work. I can.
yeah.
You think I can't undo a whole 12-week prep in one sitting? Watch me go to work. That
I'll
would be
show
the
you.
mentality. Yeah, I can think back to some stuff, and man, I don't know how I was able to do that.
No, yeah, I make sure to give outlines, so I do because,
Yeah.
um, again, like he's a he controls himself pretty well, but I know that he can, at least this person specifically, I know he can probably go off the rails if given the opportunities,
Yeah.
which is something that's going to be a little bit harder to control out the rebound. I think
Yeah.
what I'm most likely going to do is probably push the clean food for the first couple weeks, just
Yeah.
overload them. I wouldn't say overload them, but
I know what you mean.
push them with like high fiber, oats,
Yeah.
potatoes, stuff that's going to keep them satiated, and have that go into training, have that go into stuff that isn't going to be detrimental
Yeah.
to
So I
his
had to
health.
basically do my own rebound for about the first 12 weeks of it. And something I found that worked very well for me, I still wouldn't say I went too crazy the Saturday. I would say Saturday night. I don't feel like I went that crazy, but I probably did. But I know for a fact I didn't go that crazy Sunday. I had 3 meals.
Yeah.
I think steak was in every single one of those meals. I had no sweets. Maybe like a protein bar would be a sweet for me on Sunday. And then Monday I was back on the plan perfectly. But obviously, even doing that, you're still going to be up a good chunk of weight that Monday.
Yeah.
So what I did is I actually did, other than around my workout window, I had carbs in my pre-workout, my intra-workout, my post-workout. Other than that, meat and veg. I found that
There you go.
to
There you go.
by the point of the next check-in on that Saturday, I was
Yeah.
actually leaner than on show day. I think I was like maybe 1 pound down from show day.
That's good.
So
Yeah, I
it kind
think
of almost allowed me to completely reset. I got that mental bump from having those 2 days of fun, and I was just ready to be back on plan.
yeah, I think that's how it goes for a seasoned competitor at least. The people that are coming out of their first show, it's a
Yeah,
bit different. So it's but yeah, once you've done it a couple times and you've dieted like that a couple times, then you know what to expect a bit more. So
and when I say meat and veg, though, man, I'm talking 16 ounces of cooked meat and 500 grams of vegetables.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, you're
Yeah,
probably pushing a lot of meat with that. Do like a whole
yeah.
entire bag of cauliflower rice or something for yourself.
Cauliflower rice, dude. Oh my God, that was my savior. I was doing 300 grams of cauliflower rice and 200 grams of like sweet peas and carrots. Yeah,
Oh my, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, 100, but so for 500 total. But yeah, I found that to be very invaluable. People don't understand how hard it is to put on fat when you eat nothing but meat and vegetables, man. Like,
yeah. Yeah, to
Yeah,
be fair, I
that's
mean
yeah.
it's fiber and protein. I mean, you get a little bit of carbs from the vegetables, but I mean, again, half of it's fiber, so it is you're going to be pooping it out, to be honest. So,
Yeah, I definitely feel way better being on a bit lower because I think when we had done that first podcast, I had only been with my new coach for a couple weeks, and my
okay,
protein dropped by about 100. I would want to say.
okay.
I feel a lot better being on 500 protein, well 450 to 500 than I do on six. So I think
450 to
my cutoff
500 is
point, yeah.
that's high as it is. Being on 600 is just pretty. That's like really, really high.
Yeah.
So it is,
I
but
think my
yeah,
cutoff point is probably about 525. I think going past that, it's just too much GI distress.
yeah. Speaking of food, just thinking about putting on weight and whatnot. So we can get around to the topic of Urs and how much he kind of like
Yeah.
blew up. Because I know that he's been holding himself
So,
back like
when it
crazy.
comes to him, how much insight do you have? Because I'm a bit more of a kind of a peripheral viewer of his. How much insight do you have into what he's been doing? Have you been following pretty closely?
So I mean, he doesn't really post a lot about what he's actually been doing.
Okay.
I guess you could. And then background with like training, food and whatnot. He'll post training videos, but like this thing with him coming in the open, it was just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So like he didn't announce it until the last minute, and
Oh,
I know
yeah. He
I
didn't
listened to
announce it, but I think everybody kind of knew it was going to happen. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
I mean, I listened to some podcasts with him on there, and he's always talked about how even in his off seasons, with like trying to hold back his weight, it's he's starving. So he is.
Yeah.
So I think he's been starving himself for a couple of years now, to be honest. And
Yeah.
he, since he finally just decided to let his body eat some food, he basically had like a 2 year
Well, here's the
rebound.
thing. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. He did not decide to let his body eat a little bit of food.
No,
He was going to prep for the Classic O this year.
yeah,
So he has
he
not
couldn't
had an off
control it.
season. He's not had an off
Yeah,
season.
nope.
Like people got to remember and look back to remember when Derek got the special invite.
Mhm.
Similar situation. Actually, I would say the exact situation, just without the invite. Derek was prepping as though he was going to do the 212 Olympia,
Mhm.
but he ended up getting a special invite, so he ended up doing the Open.
Yeah,
If we look at his look going in to that Olympia was what was it, second or third place?
I'm not sure.
I think it.
I don't know.
I think it was third. No, it might have been second. Either way, top three in the world for sure.
Mhm.
I know he wasn't below third. Him not having an off season was top three in the world, and everybody
Yeah,
was blown away by the difference that he looked on stage that day versus the year prior at the 212.
yeah.
And he didn't have an off season. He was just able to keep his weight a bit higher and not have to suck down so hard. Same thing with Urs. Urs has not had an off season. He's just not
No,
going to have to suck
exactly.
down as hard.
That's
And
that's
I
that's
would
the thing.
argue the difference between Derek to Derek, I would argue the difference from Urs to Urs is dramatically better.
It's crazy. It's yeah, he looks amazing. And like you said, it's just crazy to think he has not actually taken an off season to grow.
Yeah.
Like it's
Bro has not
so
seen unshredded glutes for 5 years probably.
yeah. He's probably
I
right.
don't think he ever will. I don't think he is ever going to be able to put on too much body fat just from how he set up his metabolism by, you know,
He is.
living in this way. Honestly, as a competitor, it's a pretty damn good spot to be in what he's done for himself. I'm sure it was a lot of suffering for a lot of time, but I think him doing that, having to suck down for so long, has permanently changed his genetics, so to say.
I think you're probably right, especially with how his body responds to everything.
Yeah.
The food, especially food, and then training. I mean, like the man's. It seems like within 6 months, it seems like he probably made, I don't know, 4 years of progress for guys blasting PEDs, to be honest.
And that's
When I
another
was,
thing too. You know he's not been pushing the drugs
no, because
because he
he's been having to
can't.
hold back.
He
Yeah,
can't.
exactly.
Dude, it kills me when people are like, "These classic guys are lying." They're not only doing 500 in the off season, blah blah blah. You know, that's a Chris Bumstead thing. He said like 500 off season or something. Like, you absolute dunce. What are you talking about? They cannot grow. They're in a weight cap. What why would they? Why would they blast 5 grams? Why would they destroy their liver and piss out their kidneys just to not make progress?
Yeah.
Why would they do that? It makes absolutely no sense. What it is just people that have either never done drugs or have never done drugs in an intelligent manner, meaning that their diet and their training were also good.
Yeah.
So basically, people that don't make progress. It's people that don't make progress that don't understand how it is possible for someone to not be blasting drugs yet look like
Just
they
to make
are.
good progress. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the whole perception of reality is just completely skewed. But for someone to think that Chris Bumstead, or us not use Chris Bumstead, he's a bad example. He has probably the best genetics ever. For someone to think that Urs is, I've heard people say this, like, oh yeah, Urs is probably taking 20 units of growth and a gram of Tren a week. And
Are you kidding me? If he
yeah,
took 20,
he wouldn't make
like,
weight. That's the
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
For people to
Yeah.
say that, it just shows how uneducated they are, and they have no business in taking or talking about these things. But so we know Urs has almost certainly been using laughable amounts of PEDs. We know that he's not been eating because there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way he could. It would be too
Yeah.
much. It would be too much added suffering. The way, like, mentally, I would look at it is for every pound of body fat I add on this off season is one more week of suffering I have to go through as an athlete.
Yeah.
And
I know
yeah,
another thing to mention with Urs. I heard this on a podcast that he was speaking about. He takes everything he does is extremely calculated. Like his sleep, he has a specific room set up
German
to where,
precision, man. Yeah,
yeah, he has like a specific room set up to where there's like no windows. It's the same temperature all the time. He has the lights set at like certain. It's like 100% as scientific and as accurate as it could get.
yeah,
I forget which podcast it was I was listening to where he was talking about this, but he takes everything to like the most detailed spot you possibly can, and
yeah.
just does not miss on it. So, and him going into an actual off season with that kind of precision, it's going to be
Man,
like I mean, we've already seen him this year, and it's like he's great this year.
two
But what
shows.
I'm excited to see is him next year, or the year after
Yeah,
next year.
dude, he's won two
So
shows. He's won
he
two
won two.
shows. People
Poor
don't.
Quentin.
There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have had an IFBB Pro card that will never win an open
When
pro show.
yeah,
He has won
I feel
two
bad.
back to back.
I feel bad for Quentin. Like I'm a big Quentin fan, so I am.
I don't
And
feel bad for I don't feel bad for Quentin at all because it's just a matter of time.
yeah,
It is just a matter of time. When he gains enough size, he will be undeniable. That's all it
he'll
is.
be there.
And I don't feel bad about him because it just is what it is. And
Yeah,
for me as an athlete, that would just light a fire in him. It's like, okay, let's grow.
you're right. Yeah, yeah. So aside from Urs, are there any other classic guys that you? There's been some talks from other guys going to Open. Are there any that you think would make a
Ramon
big?
will have to. I
He
don't know
will.
how that man's going to make weight.
Yeah.
If he's going to have to cut off a leg. And as far as other guys not being able to make weight or needing the switch to open,
Yeah. Do you think it's going
I
to
don't
be
think
that?
there's any other. I don't think there's really any other besides Ramon that I would say like need to go to open.
Okay.
With Ramon and Urs, more so Urs, we've been talking about Urs needing to go to the open to not hold
Yeah.
himself back
He is a
for
need. So he does.
years. It's been two
Yeah.
or 3 years, and he's young. So like, what is he like? 27, 28?
I don't know.
He's
That's a
young.
good question.
He's under 30, which is
He's definitely
basically a
young.
child
Yeah.
for a bodybuilder.
Cool.
Yeah, under 30 is basically a child when you're a bodybuilder. So he's young. And that being said, people have been saying he needs to go to the open just because of how much
Mhm.
muscle he has to strip off. I don't think anybody else has that situation. So like, and with Chris, that wasn't the situation either. Chris was just so good that he could
Mhm.
be a bit full or do an open show and do really well. This is not, people are like, oh, this is going to be a trend now. Everybody's going to move from class to open. Nah, it ain't that easy. Like, you don't just put
Yeah.
on 30 pounds of muscle in a year. And Urs didn't either. He's put on that, what's his cutoff for the Olympia in Classic? What was it, like 225, let's say? He
Oh
competed
no,
at,
and that's what it is.
yeah, it's probably like 220, 222 actually. Yeah, it's probably 222 because they go in like increments of two. My amateur cap is 202. at 5'9"?
Mine's 182 at 5'7".
Yeah, so it's by
So
two. So it's probably 220 or 222. And I
yeah.
believe he competed, do we know? I think it's around 260.
I know he's 35 pounds above his weight cap, so if
Okay, so
it's
that's a
around,
number to go off then. He
yeah,
didn't gain that 35 pounds of muscle in a year. No,
exactly, yeah.
he gained that 35 pounds of muscle each time he rebounded after the Olympia or after a classic win and still had to restrict himself so much.
And
But
it had to
he was
strip right back off.
dieting that off, yeah,
Yeah,
dieting that off. So it's just it's a Kevin Lerone effect, is what we're seeing.
you're right.
How many people in the '90s were Kevin Lerone? One. I don't think this is going to be a trend where we see all these classic guys move over into open and immediately doing well. But what I do hope to see from this is I hope that we see a lot of people who do eventually reach their cap in classic and don't just sit there wasting time not making progress.
There's one guy I was thinking of. Pulled him up on Instagram. His name is Stefan or Stephen McCollum, who's a
Oh yeah,
classic
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know of him. Yep.
About Yeah, I think he could probably make a swap to open there. He's not going to make as big of a impact as Urs, obviously, with how much Urs exploded just doing his quick
Yeah.
switch. But I think that he can eventually definitely make a switch to open.
Oh, I think there are a lot of
Uh,
guys who can eventually make the switch and do really well.
yeah,
Obviously, people say that Mike looks like an open or a 212. That's stupid. That's a dumb argument. He doesn't. He looks like
yeah,
classic bodybuilder. But I do think if Mike ever does get to the point where he's having to do what Urs did and strip down so much, I do think he should move to open, and I think he would do great in open, not 212. The main person that I can think of right now who needs to go into the open is not a classic bodybuilder. Is the man that we're going to see
Keon,
next
isn't it?
week. Yeah.
Keon,
Keon.
yeah,
And he needs to go
you
into open not
oh,
because he's having to diet off muscle. He's still below the 212 cap.
yeah.
He needs to go into the open because that man is the best bodybuilder alive on planet Earth right now. That's why he needs to go get that $500,000 check or however much it is. That's why he needs to go to the open.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and
He's
I think
doing
there are
this
a lot
for.
of 212 guys like that.
I think Keon. I forget which show it is, but I know he's going to be doing an open show. It's
Prom.
right after Olympia. Yeah,
Yes, prom.
he's doing.
Oh, is it after the Olympia?
I think it's like 2 weeks after. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
I
that
think
makes
so.
sense. Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
Oh,
right
okay.
after.
That makes sense because it's the same show that Chris did his open thing at, and I saw that. I was like, oh, he's doing an open show before the Olympia. That's cool. But no, that makes way more sense that he's doing an open
Yeah,
show
right
after
after.
the Olympia.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm dumb for thinking that. That'll be
Yeah.
really crazy then because he'll have
Yeah. Especially if
yeah
like the other, I don't know if the other guys will hop in. They might not hop in because they don't want to get shown up by Keon, but you
yeah.
can see them hop in at least. So
Oh yeah, there will be a
yeah.
couple. There will be a couple for sure.
Yeah.
As far as classic guys that would do well moving up to open one day, do you know who Andy P is?
No, I don't.
He's a classic guy who's won 3 shows this year.
Okay.
He's really good. He's got a great frame on him. I think he would do good in the open one day, but I believe he's still well above weight cap, so no reason to do it until you break that.
Yeah.
I think most of Wesley actually. Wesley is one.
Really?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm not sure. Do you know if Wesley's having to fight his weight cap or not?
I don't know if he is or not. Structure wise,
Structure wise, I think you put 10 pounds of muscle on that man, and his legs finally even out, which means
I was gonna say
he's
just
a
need more
force.
legs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you see him, this is a similar thing you saw with Urs. You would see him in the off season, and his arms would be great, his back would be fine. But then come show day, those are his weaknesses. With Wesley, you'll see him in the off season, and his legs are good, but
Yeah.
then he loses them. So that tells me he's probably fighting a weight cap.
He may be quite because he's relatively, I don't want to say he's
He's like,
wide
I
waisted.
think he's like 6'2" as well.
Yeah, and he's holding a lot of weight just with the extra bone mass that he has. Being
Yeah,
he's not like super thin, so he's not in the waist. So he probably is fighting for that weight cap. Then
I would assume
I
so.
don't know. I don't know exactly, but I know like
Oh,
watching.
I thought of another guy, Matt Grego.
Who's that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, he'd be
Matt
good. That'd
Grego
be a
would
fun one.
kill it in the open.
That'd be a fun one. Yeah. He has a
Yeah,
great.
I don't know why, man, but I always forget about him, but he's so good.
He is
It's
good.
just because there's so many damn good guys in classic. That's why. There's so many
There's,
superstars in classic.
there's
Terrence, Dino, Mike, Urs formerly, Chris formerly.
Yeah.
Breon is still pretty good. He's going to be in the top 10. You know, I mean, that's the, you know, in the top 10
Top 10
best
in the
classic
world.
in the world. It's nothing to sneer
Yeah.
at. Valiant Improv, do you know who I'm talking about? He just did
Yeah.
this past
I've
classic.
heard of him.
That guy's really good. I like him too. There's a lot of good classic guys. But that being said, not everybody can go outside of that classic weight cap and keep their classic structure.
Yeah.
So that's obviously a concern too. And that's not something you get back. You blow out your waist, it doesn't come back. You
Yeah.
blow out your lines, they don't come back.
I mean, aside from classic being really interesting right now, I mean, Open's obviously really interesting, but do you think, looking at Urs on stage, right, he's holding his waist pretty well,
Yeah.
but do you think there's a bit of a difference compared to how he was whenever, I mean, of course he has a lot more muscle mass, but there's in my opinion, there's a little bit of like a slightly wider waist going on there, so
So
there
are
is
you
from
talking about in videos or in pictures?
in videos,
Okay.
stage pictures,
Because
stage
in
yeah.
pictures, there are some shots, like there's this shot where he's in the front double and people are comparing him to Dorian. But in that pose, he's not pulling a vacuum.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is the waist a bit wider? Maybe.
Maybe.
But
Yeah, I don't
it's
think
kind of
there's a
it's the
ton.
old homage, right? The old
Yeah.
bodybuilder wisdom of I don't care if I add 1 inch on my waist if I add 4 inches on my legs.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's,
Proportions,
it's like not
illusion.
noticeable. Yeah.
Yeah, because honestly, even when he was making weight for classic, with how big structurally Urs is, you put a tape measure around his waist, it's not 22 inches. You know,
Yeah.
it's still probably a 28, 30, 31, maybe even a 32-inch waist. It's just everything else is so big around it that
Makes it look small.
yeah, because that's what bodybuilding is not about who's the heaviest. Bodybuilding is not about who's the biggest. Bodybuilding is not about who's the leanest. Bodybuilding is about who looks the biggest, who looks the leanest.
Exactly.
Because you can
Yeah.
be 8% body fat but look 3% body fat, and you can be 3% body fat and look 8% body fat because you're so flat. So it's all an illusion. And I think with Urs, he absolutely. Now, a week ago, I would have said he kept that illusion, but maybe shaved off 5%. This week, he got better. I would say he's kept that illusion 100%. And
Yeah.
I think when he goes into the Open Olympia, he's just going to get better. Him and Boss have shown that they just get better over time. And again,
Yeah.
no off season. No off
Yeah.
season. Like any
Great.
areas where he isn't quite as hard or dry, the extra muscle is just going to push that up against the skin further when he goes
Yep.
to show it off again. So I
Exactly.
think if Urs brings up his back, he's chasing the title. That's all.
You're right. Yeah. The back is going to be the big thing. So it is. Yeah.
And a lot of
Uh,
that is honestly, I don't even think it's a size thing. I think it's insertions. Have you noticed? So I don't know the exact musculature of the back to name it, but you know how some people, their rhomboids and erectors and things like that, that insert into their lats, it goes like almost in an X, right?
I
And
think
then,
I know what
and,
you
and
mean.
then, and
Yeah.
then the lats pop out. You have that X and then the lats. Urs,
Mhm.
his just do this, then his lats. He doesn't have that
I,
bottom part. You know what I'm
yeah.
talking about?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I don't know if that is a structural thing, a posing thing, or a development thing. I'm not sure.
Mm. It may. I'd argue development.
I think
Not.
it's a insertion thing because I believe Guy Cisternino had the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to look. I'd have to look at it a bit more and see. Like, I'd have to look at some people who had similar backs and then maybe
And then
brought them
develop
up.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, to develop them. But either way, I mean, if he goes into even if it is an insertion thing, I think he can still put on enough mass
Oh
with an
yeah, to
actual.
make up for it. Yeah. And I mean the current Mr. Olympia, what's his biggest weakness? Back.
Yep.
So clearly,
Yeah.
I mean, if everything else is perfect, one weak body part is not going to lose the show for you if
Yeah.
everything else is
And
perfect.
then conditioning as well is what Samson is known to come in off with. And
Yeah.
Urs doesn't have an issue with conditioning, so it
And
isn't
do you know how
training.
tall Samson is? Is he 6'1" or 6'2"?
I don't know. He's one of those, so he is.
Okay.
But I know he's up there 6'1" or 6'2". So
I think Urs is he's somewhere between 5'11" and 6'1". I know he's not quite as tall as Samson.
oh no, I think Urs is down in like the 5 foot range. I think it's around.
I think he's 5'11", yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's almost as tall as Samson. He will always be leaner. Even Samson at his best will never be as lean as Urs. I firmly believe
Right.
that.
Yeah.
I just don't believe that's the way his body is supposed to be, and that's fine. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. Like nobody on this planet will ever be as lean as Hadi Chupan. Period.
Yeah. Right.
That
Yeah.
is his special trademark, and you can try to mimic it, but it will not be the same.
Yeah.
With Samson, for him, that's his flow, his symmetry, his proportions,
Mhm.
and overall his insertions. There's not a structural flaw on that man. That's his calling card. I think Urs has a very similar strength. The back is really the only weakness structurally that I can see. With his condition being that good, I do think, and because here's the thing, with Samson being a bit taller, he still, honestly, for him to be undeniable, you could argue he still maybe needs to put on some muscle in certain areas, like the
Yeah.
back.
I-
With
I'd agree.
Urs being shorter, he can get to that point a bit quicker than Samson. So,
Exactly.
because let's say Urs competed at, let's just say 250. 255. Samson competes at 295. Okay, there's about a based on their height. Let's say add or subtract 10 pounds based on that for them to be about the same amount of muscularity.
Quite honestly,
What do
if
we
it's like
do?
if
Yeah,
it's
but
like a 2 or 3 inch difference, I'd probably add like 20 pounds to be
yeah,
honest.
what do we do if Samson has to get down to 285 to be as diced as Urs, and Urs gets to 285?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the
Because
thing.
that's not
Yeah.
unreasonable. That's 30
Yeah.
pounds. If
And if
Urs, or 25 pounds, yeah, 30 pounds. If Urs competed at 255, 260, he can absolutely step on stage at 285, 280 one day, 270.
definitely, yeah.
Should he is
Yeah.
another question, but he he's so young. He's not pushed the gas on any metric. To say he could not put on 30 pounds of muscle within, honestly, a couple of years is just not paying attention.
Yeah. A couple of years would be easy. I'd say even like next year you'd be up
I'd
about like
say
10,
I
15
think he might
pounds.
could do 15, 20 in a year, man.
I was thinking 15 to be honest.
Maybe
Yeah.
more, honestly. I don't think he should do that much though, because he could blow out his lines. But
Yeah.
I think if Urs said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get big," push the gas on everything. I'm talking everything. I think he could put 30 pounds on in a year of actual
If he
stage weight.
pushed everything easily, yeah.
That probably
Yeah.
wouldn't be a good idea, but man, it would be cool.
Yeah. It'd be fun to see. But
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to the Olympia, man. It's gonna be so fun to watch. I almost want to go see it in person. Obviously, way too late to get tickets and shit. But like, I would. This would be one of the years to go see it for sure.
yeah, it'd be a good year.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch the live stream. Even if it's paid, I'll probably pay for the live stream just to watch. Because I hope that they fix their scheduling though, man. Because I remember last time we didn't even know who had won until like 3 a.m. or
I
something.
remember that. Yeah,
It was
it was pretty
awful.
bad.
They've got to get better about that. But that's an entirely different subject. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. If that's everything you wanted to cover, any closing thoughts or things you want to go over?
Um, no, I don't think so. We went into pretty good depth on cruise phases, health phases, to
Yep.
be honest, and we touched on classic guys going over to open. Even touched on Keon a little bit. I'm excited to see Keon on the open stage.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm excited to see the whole entire Open Olympia. Going to have Walker up there for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Going to have Martin Filliard, who's been improving. He's been getting bigger as well. I think Martin's going to be outclassed, sadly, by all these guys that are coming in, even by Urs. Martin's
Yeah.
been in the Open for a while, but Urs just.
I think if Martin brings his level of improvements, but with his level of quality from last year, I think he can do it. Because the problem was, unfortunately, he just missed the mark this past showing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, or whatever the show was. I don't know if that was his last showing, because he had to qualify, so he might have done one after that. But there was a really bad showing this year for him, unfortunately. Yeah.
Isn't Wilkin? Brett Wilkin's going to be in the
Yep.
Olympia this year too. So
Yep.
yeah, there's a lot of guys coming in.
That
We
top
haven't seen
six. That top six is cutthroat.
it's going to be fun to see. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it covers about everything for me. So it does. So
All
don't
right.
really have anything else to talk about. But Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been another episode of the Iron Obsession podcast. We'll figure out some cool name to kind of undercard it or whatever. But yeah, we'll talk about that off air a little bit. But yeah, so this has been the Iron Obsession podcast. Thank you for watching. Please support the show by leaving a like, a comment, or going to one of our sponsors. Thank you for watching.